ReconAthlete.com podcast is brought to you by Kreuz Market. ReconAthlete.com podcast, episode number 41. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Luceto out again. Still day to day.
Yeah, he is day to day.
You know, yeah. He said he got a note for up until the 10th for work. So
it's Friday.
Yeah. So Zach, bro, man, you got to get it together, man. Get you some of that. I don't know, them zinc pills that Snoop keeps talking about. But I don't know. I mean, it could be allergies, could be the flu. I don't know. There's all kinds of things going on right now. I know a lot of people are like dying because of allergies. I know you have, have some allergies going on with them cedar. Is it cedar for you?
Yeah, cedar for me, big time. I don't know. I don't know if it's the water back where I live now or different, but I haven't been hurting as much. But I was feeling a little under the weather this weekend, man, into Monday too. And so, but I feel a lot better right now.
As of now.
Yeah, like this afternoon, I felt like clear. I can breathe. Feel a lot better. I feel more like alive.
Yeah.
Don't feel foggy in the morning.
Did you do you didn't do the Snupe Daniel zinc thing?
Oh, man, I did my thing. I did Vapor Rub and NyQuil, man. That's how I roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You did the old school Mexican style.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Word up. All right. So today on episode 41, new old blood and Big D. I'll talk about the new coach in Dallas. Carolina pushes all in with their new head coach, making Matt Rhule the 6th highest paid head coach in the NFL. What's with New York City and judges? They've got Aaron Judge on the New York Yankees, and now have Joe Judge as their head coach. Sam isn't ready for the NFL. We'll talk a little bit about Sam Ehlinger, choosing to stay with the Longhorns, and of course the NFL Divisional Playoff round coming up. This Saturday and Sunday, correct? There's 2 and 2, just like last week.
Just like last week.
All right. So let's start off with it, Paul. New old blood in Big D, and I put it like that because it's new blood for Dallas and Mike McCarthy, but he's an old head in the NFL. He spent many years in Green Bay. He won Super Bowl 45. What was it? 8 seasons in a row making the playoffs. Yep. 9 out of 13, I think was the number. 9 playoff appearances out of 13 seasons in Green Bay. I mean, he is what I was looking for in a head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, because I was looking for the proven head coach. Yeah. I liked the Ron. I was the Ron Rivera guy, and with Mike McCarthy available, I was the Mike McCarthy guy. I'm happy. Are you happy, Paul? What do you think about this?
I'm satisfied. I'm not happy. It's not a big splash. It's not what I think a lot of people were thinking coming down the pike. But Jerry Jones made it apparent he wants, something that's proven. He wants a proven product, and he's getting that with Mike McCarthy. And it seems that Mike McCarthy was honing his craft while he was off. When he was let go by the Green Bay Packers. When he went out and spent a lot of time in his ranch, he was around coaching. He was producing game plans. He was preparing just like he was a coach in the NFL during his downtimes. But I'm not impressed with this pick.
Really?
I'm impressed with what he's collected on defense as far as coaches.
Okay.
That is impressive to me. We'll get into that here in a moment. But getting back to just Mike McCarthy as the hire, yeah, great. With the pick, I think that they have the best coach in the NFC East, but I don't think it's going to be a huge impact in changing the outcome for the Cowboys as far as Super Bowl appearances or Super Bowl victories. Are they going to get to the playoffs? Yep. Are they probably going to get to an NFC Championship? Probably. They'll probably make one Super Bowl appearance in the next 2 or 3 years.
Really?
And that's good. Oh, yeah. I really think that in the next 2 or 3 years, I think they'll definitely make an appearance, but Jerry Jones is going to come up short, and I hope he's around long enough to maybe see the right hire that he should have picked up, which I still think it should have been Urban Meyer, but probably down the road it'll probably be someone like Lincoln Riley or a new emerging head coach that may be an offensive coordinator right now at some of these larger universities.
Yeah, so I was satisfied with it. Kind of happy about it because I was the guy that was. We've talked about it in a lot of our episodes here, and I was always the one that wanted the head coach that has been proven. Wasn't a fan of the college guy coming up, which Matt Rhule with the Carolina Panthers is that guy this time around. We'll talk about him here in a minute. But it's interesting for me to hear you say that you're satisfied, but not happy. But you do believe that they could make a Super Bowl run in the next 2 to 3 years. What about Mike McCarthy coming to the Dallas Cowboys makes you think that all of a sudden this is going to happen for them, for Dak and the team?
Well, for the experience that Mike McCarthy has with elite quarterbacks, I think he's been around enough quality quarterbacks that show with going to Favre and going to Aaron Rodgers. I'm not comparing Dak to Hall of Fame quality quarterbacks, but what I am saying is that Mike McCarthy is going to do everything in his power to get Dak ready, not only mentally but physically, to produce a West Coast style offense that's going to be extremely complicated. And I don't think Dallas is going to do well the first year, but I think in years 2 and 3 they will. But it's going to be an acclimation period for Dak and for the Cowboys to get ready. But Mike McCarthy will have all the pieces in place because of him being a strong-minded offensive mind, coupled with him making the right hires, in my opinion, the right hires on the defensive side of the ball, bringing in a lot of head coaching experience with former head coaches who are now position coaches as well as defensive coordinators. I think that's going to be the biggest strength for Mike McCarthy going in. That's why I think that he'll have the best opportunity in the next few years, coupled with that roster. That's the time frame. It's 2 to 3 years that they're going to have this roster together as one under contract as soon as that gets signed. And I think that's where they're going to have their biggest window of opportunity to get things done.
Yeah, and I think you make a great point with the first year possibly being a struggle with Dak Prescott, because you're right. It is a West Coast offense. In its heyday, it was innovative, fun, creative. Now it's kind of an old style. Yeah, it's a little bit antiquated now. But it is based on the quarterback making reads, making quick passes, getting the ball down the field, being able to be on the same page as the wide receiver, hot routes. Both the receiver and the quarterback need to know what the hot route is, and they need to be on the same page. Yeah. And the quarterback needs to be able to read the defense. I mean, it is essential for the quarterback to read the defense, and even more essential for the quarterback to be accurate with his passing. That's where I'm hesitant. I like the Mike McCarthy pick, but I'm hesitant because of the West Coast style offense, and that's going to force Dak to be an accurate passer, which we've seen him struggle with hitting open receivers. So, maybe the environment that he's going to be in is going to force him to, make those quick throws, and maybe it's better for Dak not to think too much. Like that old Yogi Berra, he used to say, you can't think and hit at the same time, right? Well, you can't think and throw a pass at the same time. You gotta be able to know, okay, this is where I'm going with the ball, snap it, and hit it. That's the type of West Coast offense that they're going to be, running. So you're right. I think it could take a year for Dak to get acclimated to the pace of this and to the amount of pressure that it's going to be put on him to run this type of offense. But the other thing about this offense too is they don't abandon the ground game. I mean, they do run the ball, and a lot of it is play action. They like to bootleg. They like to move the quarterback. So I do think that Dak Prescott is the type of quarterback, the style of quarterback to play a West Coast offense. I just, his defense reading and his accuracy is what gives me hesitation in this style of offense.
I just hope that the receivers and the quarterback can read the same defensive coverages simultaneously, which is going to be another big component. And my other biggest concern is I hope Zeke just doesn't get lost in the mix. And that's one thing we have to really be afraid of with Mike McCarthy coming from two gunslingers with Brett Favre and with Aaron Rodgers. You hope that doesn't get lost, especially. And I don't think Jerry Jones will allow that to get lost because of the type of money that's been paid to Zeke. So hopefully that integration gets done properly, but also gets done effectively to utilize all the weapons that you have. Because we all understand Dallas Cowboys are the most talented roster in the NFL. Now, can we just get a competent CEO to manage all the moving pieces so that they can be successful moving forward? That's where we're at.
So right now, I mean, you got the big domino to fall, which was the head coach. Now it's going to be bless you.
Hello.
Now it's going to be the quarterback. That's going to be the big Dallas Cowboy headline. Like how much are they going to pay Dak? If he's going to sign, are they going to franchise him? I mean, I'll be interested to see what happens with Dak, like as far as what they offer him and if he accepts what the offer is. Because now you have a coach that needs a quarterback that semi knows what he's doing. You can't really bring in a rookie right now.
There's two quarterbacks out there that are proven winners.
And you're talking about Phillip Rivers and Tom Brady.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I mean, they just can't see it happening. I mean, I would love to. I mean, I would take Phillip Rivers.
I'd take either one.
And Tom Brady, and match him with Mike McCarthy. Oh, man. Yeah. Super Bowl.
So, yeah.
Oh,
man, I
don't know about a Super Bowl win.
You give
I don't know about a win.
You give a lot of credit to the rest of those people on that offense.
You got the highest paid offensive line in the NFL.
That doesn't mean you're right, but that doesn't mean that's going to translate into wins on the field. Well, if everybody stays healthy, maybe
everybody stays healthy. I mean, they're a great offensive line.
Yeah, they're probably top
you've got the highest paid defensive player in franchise history. DeMarcus Lawrence.
One thing I do want to bring up with Mike McCarthy being named the head coach, I think Mike McCarthy plays a critical role on feedback to the Joneses to offer what kind of money Dak is going to be worth. Is Dak picking up this offense? That's going to translate to what kind of money they offer. Or if Dak isn't picking up the offense, maybe we need to franchise Dak, because how is he going to be prolific in this offense if he's not picking things up at the pace he should be, or the pace Mike McCarthy thinks he should be picking it up? And I think that's where, now that Mike McCarthy is the head coach, plays a pivotal role into those contract negotiations based off the information he gives to the Jones family based off of Dak's progress in his new offense.
Yeah. So Mike McCarthy, new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm happy. Paul's satisfied. And before we move on, I do want to talk a little bit about how it went down, because I think it was kind of controversial, because Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones had a slumber party at Jerry Jones's mansion on Saturday night, and then they still hadn't even got rid of Jason Garrett yet.
I'm glad you're bringing this up, because I'm extremely dissatisfied how this went down.
I was just like, dude, it's like Jerry, dude, like you're cheating on your girlfriend or something. You know what I'm saying? Or your wife. You're cheating on your wife, and you get your mistress, in your mansion, Mike McCarthy. It was kind of messed up. I mean, even Troy Aikman came out and said, "Man, this is jacked the way this went down." So I don't know if I feel like Jerry's just kind of losing it, maybe. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Jerry's at an age where I think he just doesn't give a damn anymore.
Yeah,
he just doesn't care. But where my biggest frustration is that, why did you only interview 2 candidates? And why did you meet the minimum requirement for the Rooney Rule and hire Marvin Lewis? Why did you have a list of candidates and take your time? Were you really that worried that someone was going to scoop up Mike McCarthy? And if that's true, why didn't you have these interviews during the last 2 weeks of the season leading up to the NFL, or the end of the NFL season, and in the wild card make your decision and make your move like you did?
It was because they still had Jason Garrett as their head coach.
You're telling me that the richest organization in professional sports can't move under the radar? I don't believe that.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't believe that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think it was sort of out of respect for Jason. Wasn't out of respect at the end when, he's like, hey.
If you didn't care then, Mike, why would you care before?
Yeah. Hey, Mike, come over to my house and, let's have a tickle fight or whatever.
Or
and then I'll sign you the next day.
Or maybe the Jones family did have this intent the whole time, knowing Mike McCarthy was out at his ranch preparing week in and week out like an NFL coach, and say, hey, we're not going to sign Jason just in case something happens next year. Well, that came to fruition. Here we are. Let's take the guy we want, and here we are with Mike McCarthy.
So Jerry knew. I mean, so basically the Joneses, Jerry and Steven, they knew who their guy was. They knew who they. I think so too. They knew they wanted him. They had to interview Marvin Lewis because of the Rooney Rule,
right?
Which is a good rule, by the way. And yeah, I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head. They knew who their guy was. I just still think it was kind of weird that you have, like I said, a slumber party at your house before you let go of your old head coach. It was weird. It was weird. I don't know. Well, but it's over. We got a new head coach. I'm happy, especially because Jason Garrett's not there anymore. We'll see what the transition's like. And we've got a new defensive coordinator as well, and Mike Nolan. Before we talk about that, let's mention real quick, once again, January 19th,
Yep.
Kreuz Market, y'all. Live show, Recon Athlete. We did have a different schedule, or what happened with the schedule with Jesse Stratton? They got something else going on.
Right, there's just a little scheduling conflict,
yeah.
But we moved some things around. We will have live music there at the venue at Kreuz Market on the 19th of January. I'm still really excited to go. I haven't seen Zach in a month, so I'm going to be excited to see him there. As far as I know, Snupe Daniel's still on board, and of course you're going to be there MC and everything. But we're definitely making moves. We're still waiting to see to lock down our guest list before we put that out. So we have a lot of stuff still coming. Just be looking out for that post that's circulating around. I'm sure it is. I've seen the numbers, so
yeah,
looks good right now.
Yeah, and come out, check out Kreuz Market if you've never been. Have some great brisket, sausage, ribs. What's your favorite thing over there in Kreuz?
And the pork chops.
Pork chops
Pork chops are great.
Okay.
The reason I like the pork chops is because the way they cut them, you get that nice piece of pork loin, and then they cut it long enough to where you get a rib with it. So you're really getting a pork rib and that really juicy, moist pork cutlet on there. Man, it's great.
All right, so now you got inside information, y'all. So come out to Kreuz Market to the Recon Athlete live broadcast January 19th. We're going to start around noon. And now to get the pork chop. All right. I'm going to shout out everybody that's on my watch party real quick. Anthony Lopez. That was what's up? What's up, Anthony? Shout out to Stephanie Amato Galvez, our super fan. Kalunga's on here. What's up, Kalunga? Amato did say that college coaches have a hard time making it in the NFL, Paul. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Shout out Jesse, Paul Carroza. Zach's on there. What's up, Zach? Julian, Kristen, and Jennifer. So shout out to everybody that's on our watch party there. All right. So speaking of the college coaches, moving on to the NFL, Matt Rhule leaves Baylor, goes to Carolina. And the reason why I put Carolina pushes all in with their new head coach is because they made this man the 6th highest paid coach in the NFL without coaching a down yet. I mean, this guy's getting paid more than Mike Tomlin. Mm-hmm. Okay. They're basically paying him, I think it was the number I saw was $8.86 million a year. His total contract could be worth up to $70 million if he reaches all of his incentives. Mm-hmm. I think 62 of that is just like the base. So they really came with it. And I know he was supposed to, I don't know if he interviewed with the Giants, but I think the Giants were just like, we don't even, want to mess with that number. So Dallas knew what they wanted. Carolina just were like, we're going to put all the chips in here. Mm-hmm. We're going to make everybody fold. We're taking Matt Rhule. So they've got their coach. They've got the college guy. Your thoughts on both the hire and how much they're paying him? I mean, I think it's kind of ridiculous.
Props to Matt Rhule for selling himself to get $8.8 million a year. Props to you, sir.
Right.
I know you sold yourself. I know you sold what you did at Temple. I know what you sold yourself at Baylor for turning around that program. 2 programs that were in disarray, turned them around. Very successful after he left. I'm sure Carolina is thinking that too. They want to get back to the Super Bowl. Now, I just think that what Matt Rhule's strengths are: discipline, control, fear, structure. I don't think that's what the Carolina Panthers need right now. I think they need a fun coach. I think they need a coach who wants to go out and enjoy week in and week out and give them enough guidance to let their skill set be showcased all over the field. And I just don't think you're getting that with Matt Rhule. I think you're getting a college version of Ron Rivera, a guy who's going to do what you need him to do, say what you need him to say, keep everybody in line. And I'm just saying, Matt Rhule doesn't produce quarterbacks. How are you going to get him to manage Cam Newton? How are you going to get him to make Cam Newton better? Is that going to be your coach going forward? That raises questions for the quarterback position. Are you going to stick with the young kids with Allen and Greer? Or are you going to go into the draft and find somebody new? Those are questions that, to me, with this hire, raise a lot more questions and don't meet the needs that I see with the Carolina Panthers.
So you're saying that you want a little bit less Bill Belichick and more Pete Carroll?
I want a little bit more Pete Carroll, yeah.
You want
and Matt Rhule doesn't do that, and that's okay. That's not what he does. But he takes programs. He should have went to Cleveland. That would, I think, would have been the best fit for him. But hey, Carolina didn't let him get out of the building. They backed up the Brinks trucks. Let the man get his bag. Props to you, bro. Like I said, I'm never going to get in between anybody and their money. I'm going to say congratulations.
Right.
Congratulations. You told them enough that they needed to hear that they cut the check. So props to you. I just don't think it's going to benefit the Carolina Panthers and getting them over the hump, especially in that division.
Yeah. So I think
because think about who's in that division. Sean Payton.
Yeah.
Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
I don't even know who the coach is for the other team besides Carolina. I mean, that's just how bad it is.
Yeah.
You got two alphas in there. Both been in the Super Bowl. Bruce Arians and Sean Payton. Those guys know how to win.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think there was so much interest in Matt Rhule. Carolina was just like, this is the guy we want. And so we're going to just price everybody out of him. And we're gonna offer him so much money that nobody else is even gonna try to match.
He won't even go listen to the offers.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so much money that, like, how can you not try to, how can you not leave Baylor? Like, it's a great opportunity for him. I don't know. I mean, honestly, like, I don't know enough about Baylor football. I mean, I know they were good. I mean, I watched them lose a great game to Oklahoma, twice. So, I mean, if I'm basing my assessment on Matt Rhule, I've seen him choke a couple times. So I don't know if he's worth $8.86 million. We did have my cousin Edgar says trade Cam Newton. That's his advice. Let
me bring up one thing.
So go ahead.
And this is just something that has been eating at me ever since we started talking about Matt Rhule. And this is something kind of close to me because we are entrenched in Austin football, and we know that the last 2 years some really great receivers have gone on to Baylor, and other potential commits have looked at Baylor. I know that those young men and women who go to college have that opportunity to sign early in December with their national letter of intent.
Right.
Unfortunately, Matt Rhule left Baylor. Well, you left all those commits that you brought in last year. You're leaving all those commits that you just signed in December 2020. I sure hope, because I saw him on some social media in Austin at some high profile student athletes in the area. Why do you set these young people up to leave them like that? And that's the only thing I have a concern is, like, look, bro, Matt Rhule, I'm talking straight to you. If you know you have an inclination to leaving, if you know you have some feelers out there from the NFL, I sure hope you communicated that effectively to these recruits, because it's unfair to them. They're recruiting to that school, but a lot of it is them recruiting to you. And those parents are entrusting you to take care of their young men and women when they go to college. And that's just something I wanted to get off my chest, because I think it's highly unfair. I know we have some type of movement for student athletes to come and go as they see see fit.
Yeah.
But gosh, man, if I was a parent who had a son who committed to a school like that, and the coach said deuces to back up the Brinks truck, I'm gonna have an issue with it. But that's just me, and that's something I need to get off my chest.
And you're kind of going at it at a different angle here, because a few minutes ago you were saying you're not going to get in the way of somebody with making their money, but now you're saying you're looking at a different angle now, like as a high school athlete parent or a high school athlete being recruited by Matt Rhule.
I just want to make sure there's
two different.
I just want to make sure there's some transparency.
I don't know how much transparency there's going to be, though.
But my point is that, is it unjust? I'm not talking about fairness. I'm talking about just. Is it just or unjust?
As far as just leaving?
For not having enough transparency.
I mean, did the guy know he was going to get paid, or he was going to get offered $8.86 million?
Did you know that there were feelers from the NFL?
Absolutely.
Then if he knew that, and if a parent asked, and I understand a parent would have to ask, I hope he was honest. And I don't know if he was or was not.
But I mean, if we know that there was feelers out in the NFL, then the recruits have to know. The parents have to know. All you got to do is pull up CBS Sports, pull up ESPN. All you got to do is Google Matt Rhule, and you're going to know that he's got some interest from the NFL. So I get what your point is, but you're going to, that you're going to be recruited by Baylor, that there's a chance that he goes to the NFL because his name it's not like it just came out of nowhere, kind of like Joe Judge. We'll talk about him in a minute. The New York Giants head coach. You knew going into this this little process here, maybe not last year, but doing this in December, his name has been thrown around. In
December, Chris, not the beginning of the season, not when the recruiting process began.
But you got another. I mean, there's another signing period. You got one in February,
right? And that's why I said I hope that these young people, these talented young.
Well, I mean, did he know
take their time?
But did he know at the beginning of the season that he was going to have the success that he did, and the NFL would become calling? I don't think he knew that. I mean, really, I'm just saying. Devil's advocate.
I got it.
I'm just saying. We can't have it all in one way. But I'm just saying, I do agree with you. If he knew in December,
and a parent asked,
be transparent about it.
Be transparent about it.
So, and but congratulations to Matt Rhule, New Carolina head coach. Paul wants you to be a little bit more Pete Carroll rather than Bill Belichick. I really don't care. I'm just more worried about my Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. But
Chris, I got bigger fish to fry.
I got bigger fish to fry. Yeah. Shout out to Ron Rivera, who is a coach over at the Washington Redskins. Now we didn't really talk about him, but maybe we'll get to him a little bit later.
Who's the best coach in that division, NFC East?
Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mike McCarthy. No doubt. No doubt. All right. So, I think. I got a shout out to Bergie. Oh, Diana's on there. Hi, Diana. I just got to shout out my people on the watch party.
Yeah.
So Joe Judge is the 18th. Was it the 18th head coach? I think that was what it was for the New York Giants. So this is the third, I want to say, coach scenario or that has come around, right? So you got Mike McCarthy with the Cowboys. Who is a proven head coach, many years in the NFL. Yep. You got Matt Rhule with Carolina, who is a college head coach coming into the NFL. And now you got a third type of new head coach that wasn't a head coach at all at any level, but is coming from two really good programs. First being assistant at Alabama under Nick Saban. And now for the past few years, he was special teams coach and wide receivers coach this year for Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. So you have three different scenarios here on these types of head coaches. Joe Judge does have the NFL experience. What he doesn't have is any head coaching experience at either level, at the college level or at the pro level. My question for you is, where the heck did Joe Judge come from? I didn't even hear his name at all. He was the fifth interview that the New York Giants did. I think that's what you wanted the Cowboys to do, right? You wanted them to do their due diligence.
Yes,
and the Giants did their due diligence. But Joe Judge, I don't know what he did in his interview. And I wanted, if he has an interview coach or a resume writer, I want to know who that person is, because I want to get I want to see what they can do for me.
Exactly.
But this guy obviously impressed. Because, when I looked up potential Giants head coaches, I did not see the name Joe Judge. Maybe I didn't look farther enough down the list, or maybe I didn't research enough websites. Didn't go to maybe they were on some kind of message board somewhere. But they've decided on Joe Judge, no head coaching experience at any level. What do you think about this hire? First of all, let's just talk about Joe Judge as the New York Giants head coach. Thoughts on that?
Joe Judge is a refined Freddie Kitchens. What I mean by that is Freddie Kitchens spent.
So he's going to be there 1 year.
He's David Gettleman is either a genius or an absolute fool with this one.
Yeah.
Because Freddie Kitchens. Let's just talk about Freddie Kitchens. He spent time in Alabama. He was a quarterback coach before he was named the head coach
right
at Cleveland.
Mm.
Our boy Judge here spent time in Alabama, was a receivers coach and special team coach. Brother, you just come from a more organized position with the Patriots. That doesn't mean you're going to capture the essence of Bill Belichick and translate that to the New York Football Giants.
Yeah.
He's just a refined Freddie Kitchens. I think David Gettleman he's banking his whole career because this will be his second job as a GM, and you only get 2 shots in the NFL to be a GM before you get relegated back to being a scout. Joe Judge, plethora of talent with the Giants, improving their offensive line, can't miss back in Saquon. Receivers are emerging. Mm-hmm. Danny Dimes is going to be a sufficient quarterback in the NFL, and Joe Judge is going to ruin them. And David Gettleman is going to do to 2 years, maybe 1 to 2 years of acting like Jerry Jones and saying he knows all because he's the be-all, end-all with the New York Football Giants as the GM.
So, prediction time for Joe Judge.
Yeah.
1 year or 2 years? Or does he get past 2 years?
If he
because if he's a refined Kitchens, Kitchens only did 1 year.
They went 6-10.
Yeah.
If they're 800, if they're 500, if they're 8-8, the Giants are 8-8.
He gets 2.
He'll get 2. But if he doesn't have a winning season, I think they fire Gettleman because I'm sorry, the Mara family needs to come back to whatever trip they've been on and start running this team again. They are the bedrock of the NFL, and someone from that family needs to get a hold and get a reins on that franchise because people like David Gettleman and their arrogance are just running your team into the ground just like Jerry did for 25 years.
Yeah, and to me it's like, okay, here's like, and that's exactly what you said. I have to agree with you on that point where, they got the guy from that was under Bill Belichick and he's at New England and they're trying to get a little bit of that Bill Belichick New England Patriots magic and putting it into New York.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work. Maybe it was,
Chase McDaniels didn't even interview for that job.
Right.
And that's the guy you wanted.
Yeah.
They said, oh, well, we'll take Chase McDaniels, a refined
Jason McDonald.
What'd you say?
Jason?
Is that what I said? Jason?
Yeah.
McDaniel?
Is that what you said?
I don't
Jason?
remember.
Anyways, go ahead.
Hyped up, man.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Anyways, you're taking the refined Freddie Kitchens, and I just don't know why you're doing that. When you have proven coordinators and NFL head coaches that obviously Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy scooped up off of all the NFL coaching trees down around the NFL.
Yeah. So we'll see. I think I'll think we're going down. If you're the Giants, you might be going down the road of Pat Shurmur. 2 years, and he's done.
Why can't they keep a coach more than 3 years?
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. So those are the new head coaches. We talked Mike McCarthy. We talked Matt Rhule. We talked Joe Judge. Shout out to our watch party people that just joined us. Roderick and Edgar, my cousins. Yes, I have thousands of cousins. Shout out to John and hi, Michelle. And moving on to Sam Ehlinger.
Yeah.
So as Sam decided he's not ready for the NFL. I don't know if it was Sam deciding that he's not ready for the NFL, but maybe more the NFL probably letting Sam know that he's not ready for them. I don't think this was I like the fact that they tried to sell it like, oh, Sam Ehlinger is gonna come out and.
It was a pretty dope video.
Yeah, the video was cool.
That UT the video
they're like,
club put
yeah,
together.
it was cool, but it's like, did anybody really think that Sam was going to go to the NFL?
Maybe some people in Sam's camp thought he might have go to the NFL.
Really?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. Really though? Really?
Maybe, Chris. I don't believe it, but I'm just saying maybe.
I love Sam Ehlinger, man. I've been a Sam Ehlinger fan since his Westlake days. I didn't really, I like him as a kid, as a person. Yeah, he's a good, great, he's a decent player. He's a great leader.
Great leader.
He can work on his defense reading a little bit.
Tough dude. Tough.
Very tough kid.
Tough dude.
Very tough kid. He's been through a lot, he's been through more in his young life than a lot of people have, losing a dad at a young age.
Very tragic.
I just don't know, especially at this point, at this point, I'm saying I don't know. I do know he's not ready for the NFL.
Yeah.
Is another year at the 40 acres in the University of Texas. Do you think that's going to be enough for him to develop to be ready for the NFL in 2021?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
I think it's going to improve his mechanics a little bit. I think that the offensive coordinator, if he's an offensive coordinator coming from Ohio State, he has to be a good teacher. Most coaches are good teachers. And if he can get taught the mechanics, that'll be the first step. Now, I'm not saying Sam Ehlinger is going to be an NFL Hall of Famer. I'm not going to say he's going to be a starting quarterback, but I think he would be a great backup in serving the role, very similar to how Colt McCoy did with the Redskins.
Yeah, he's going to be the Colt McCoy. Yeah, University of Texas, the home of the backup quarterback in the NFL.
And you make a lot of money as a backup quarterback.
Okay, you do.
A lot, generational wealth. Yeah. It's big money, even as a backup.
Yeah, you just have to sit there and do, clipboard it. Yeah. Wear some headphones, maybe throw in some signs.
And that could be a great
segue. Be ready.
And that'd be a great segue for, I think, what Sam would be really great at as a coach. And I think that probably may be something down the road that he explores.
Yeah, and it could be. I mean, I think Sam Ehlinger would be a great coach. Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, I think he could be a late rounder in 2021. And it kind of depends on what happens in his senior year. I mean, we never know. Maybe a light clicks. Maybe he's, just goes off during the offseason.
Sure click for Joe Burrow.
It's true. That's true. Maybe something changes for Sam. I mean, he's still a young kid. I mean, there could be something that just really turns him, down a road of success that he hasn't, quite gotten to yet. I mean, he's had success, not to the level of, Burrow or Trevor Lawrence or Jalen Hurts or those guys, but he's got another year, and he's set up. He's got a good core coming back, and I think. And it's a good setup for the University of Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've got Hudson Card and Jaquinda Jackson coming in. They're going to be able to sit out a year, then have a quarterback battle, quarterback competition in 2021. So I think this is great not only for Sam, but I think it's great for the University of Texas, and it's really great for Coach Herman because he doesn't have to go into this possibly hot seat year with a freshman quarterback, So I think Tom Herman's probably the most beneficial out of this, or gets the most benefit out of this. But he wouldn't say that, but I just think he gets the most benefit out of Sam staying because he doesn't have to, get another guy ready for the Big 12 and for this college season in 2020.
Chris, how did that taste?
What?
How did that big bowl of hope just taste?
It's terrible.
As I saw you just
terrible.
Spooning it up like
terrible.
All that hope.
I hate it.
I was like,
I hate it.
All of those. I was
hate
like,
it.
Selling seats.
Sucks.
Ellinger's back.
Sucks.
They're gonna go to the Big 12 and probably be a favorite now that Matt Rhule's out.
Maybe
Lincoln Riley's still gonna be the nemesis. OU is still going to be given the free advertisement with the horns down.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be UT until we kick off and we get midway through the season. Or probably after that bowl or after that LSU game in Death Valley. I know. That's why I asked. There's a big bowl of hope. I was just like, man, Chris is getting hype off that hope.
Yeah, I got my burnt orange Yeti here.
Yeti, what's up?
Shout out to my godson Jackson. Got me this for Christmas.
Yeah.
Francesca. So I'm, maybe because I've been using this at work. I never had a Yeti cup before.
They're dope, right?
It's cool. I'll stop saying that because they're not our sponsor yet.
What's up, Yeti?
I got my Revelry sticker on it. Shout out Lockery. But that's all you get. You don't get any more. Shout out to Snoop. Just got in there. Shout out to Bergie too. Yeah, I'm trying to.
I saw the. I saw the glee that you were just coming with every time you were saying Hudson Card, Jackson, Harmon's gonna be coming through.
And I think maybe it's a little bit of because I'm happy about Mike McCarthy. I got some hope for the Cowboys next year. Looking for some hope for the Longhorns because this was a tough season. There were high hopes. There were high hopes for both of my football teams. There were high hopes for the Longhorns, high hopes for the Cowboys, and they both just kind of crashed and burned. Now, of course, the Longhorns come and win 38-10. They, run Utah out of the Alamo Dome, but whatever. Who cares about that? You didn't beat OU. You didn't get to the Big 12 championship. You didn't do like the big things that you want to do. So there's a little bit of hope for me. I think if it's a similar season next year, I think Herman's done. I think they think the Cowboys, the Longhorns are going to move on. So I think that's why I'm saying with Sam coming back, I think he's probably the one that needs to have the most hope for his Longhorns and the most hope that he gets another year or another 2 years, because if his seat isn't hot, it's warming up.
That's one thing. It's
warming up.
The Horns, folks, the people in power, they don't put up with, and that's mediocrity. They don't put up with it. They're not going to deal with it. They give you 2 or 3 years. They'll let you have your run, and you're out if you ain't taking care of business.
Yeah. So, we'll see what Sam Ehlinger does next year. I know, we're big fans of Sam. We saw him, through his years at Westlake when we were covering him through FanStan. Shout out FanStan ATX. Shout out Snoop. Those are, FanStan's our roots. That's where we're, basically where we come from. We don't forget our roots.
Nah, man.
We don't forget. That's why we always shout out FanStan. We always shout out Snoop. That's kind of what Recon Athlete was born out of. But we get another year, and I think I think hopefully Sam and hopefully maybe if he has a great enough year, he gets an invite to New York City. Early December.
That's very, very possible.
Early December, he ggets to go to Madison Square Garden and watch. There's going to be some kind of boxing match there that night. Probably there usually is. Yeah. The Knicks are usually in town. It's just a whole night. For Sam. That should be Sam's goal. It's just to get invited. Yeah. Get invited.
If your only lump is that loss to LSU, which is probably going to come out probably number 1, maybe number 2 in the rankings after this season. If that's your only lump and you clean up the Big 12 and you take a Big 12 title home, Sam's going to be in New York.
All right. So ReconAthlete.com, episode number 41. Once again, I want to remind everybody, January 19th, our live broadcast out of Kreuz Market. Going to start about noon o'clock. We're going to have some live music, and I'm going to be there. Paul, hopefully Zach Lucetto. Snupe Daniel said he's going to be joining us as well. We're going to have some guests lined up. To come out and join us. Try to do a little trivia too. I'm gonna get some gift cards from Kreuz Market. So maybe if we get those, you can win a gift card and go get you some pork chops. So January 19th. January 19th. Make sure you all come out. It's gonna be fun. You get to meet me. I mean, y'all know me. Most of our fans do. All right. Last but not least, on episode 41, let's talk about the divisional playoff round coming up this weekend. Saturday, the early game, 3:35 kickoff, Minnesota at San Francisco, and then Saturday night, 7:15, Tennessee at Baltimore. Now, I'm just going to put this out there. I was 1 for 3 in my picks. I was terrible. I got Seattle. I did get that one, but I didn't get the Buffalo game. I didn't get you got Tennessee.
I got the Tennessee.
You got Tennessee. I had New England. But I kind of picked New England just to be because we were picking at that point. Did you get Texans? No, we both picked Buffalo.
We both picked Buffalo.
We both picked Buffalo, and then we did New England, Tennessee, and I was like, well, we can't just both keep picking the same ones. So I missed that one. I got Seattle. What was the other one? Minnesota. Beating the Saints.
I took the Saints.
Yeah. So we were both 1 for. You were 2 for 4.
I was 2 for 4, and you were
1 for 4. Yeah. So, and the Minnesota, but all the games were great. What up, Snoop?
Snoop.
All the games were great. All the games were awesome. Do we need to get a microphone for you? Yeah, let's get a microphone for him. All the games were great. I think Minnesota, San Francisco. What are your thoughts? Is Minnesota going to pull another upset against the 49ers like they did against the Saints?
Heck no, they're not setting up another game. Look, I'm sorry, but Joey Bosa and company is going to just flat out dominate this Vikings team. Kirk Cousins, I know, they like to refer him as first cousins. That's old Shannon Sharp, first cousin. But look, man, I'm sorry, but San Francisco, Jimmy G takes care of business. I think big. The line right now is San Francisco minus 7 points at home, Santa Clara, Levi Stadium. That's going to be San Francisco causing maybe this could be like a new wave of legacy for 49er fans to go ahead and like relive the glory days of Joe Montana and Steve Young. We'll see how we'll probably see how that fares out. Look at Chris getting Snoop all hooked up. I was pretty ironic. Snoop got on that Longhorns cap right after the Ellinger talk.
Yeah.
I heard that.
So,
7 points, 49ers at home.
I think.
-7.
I think San Francisco's going to roll.
Like dominant.
I think Minnesota used all their luck last week. Their defense. I think San Francisco has a defense to match Minnesota's. So the Saints, their defense is good, but I don't think it's on the level of the 49ers. Not even close.
No.
Not even close. So if we're doing a showdown, Snoop, on DFS for Minnesota and San Francisco, who's your captain? Minnesota, San Francisco.
Dalvin Cook.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just stack San Francisco. Because
Really?
they got so many. I've already talked about how I love the Niners and how I think they have the sneakiest skill players out there. Their running backs. I guess Matt Breida came in as the number one guy, and then what's the guy's name? Mostert. He's just busted out.
Yeah.
Tevin Coleman, they bought in to help, and he's been an afterthought. But they're receivers. We talk about Debo Samuels.
Oh, that dude is.
Him and DK Metcalf and AJ Brown, I think, are the next level big receivers. But then you also have Husick or the fullback.
Jursic. Yeah.
George Kittle might be the best tight end in the NFL, and then they got Demaryius Thomas, and he's not even really contributing. Goodwin, they just got talent on. San Francisco is sneakily, I think, the deepest team in the NFL.
Yeah, I think
names you don't know.
Yeah. And I think, my favorite dude is the Jursic guy.
Yeah.
I can't even say his name. He's like, you get that Polish name. It's like one vowel and, 10 consonants.
He's the highest paid fullback in the NFL.
He's like
the only fullback in the NFL, right?
Yeah. Probably true fullback. He's an Ivy Leaguer too.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's an Ivy Leaguer.
So Minnesota, San Francisco, San Francisco 7-point favorites. Do you think that? So we'll talk about it, of course, Saturday morning. You think this line will move at all?
Nah, it's probably pretty much set.
You think so?
Yeah, it's been a week. We're 4 days out from game time, or 3 days out from game time. I don't see it changing at all.
All right, Tennessee, Baltimore. What line do you got right now?
-10, Baltimore.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There is no confidence in Tennessee.
Tannehill gonna get beat down.
You think so?
Yes. Tannehill is going to get beat down.
I use Lamar Jackson as my captain.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
So Lamar Jackson probably going to have the best stats for all of you that don't do DFS. Basically, your captain on your showdown team is the guy that's going to have the best stats in the game. So Lamar Jackson probably the captain. But if you're Tennessee, you have Derrick Henry.
I know.
So what you're trying to do.
Sorry.
Run the football?
Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. You're good.
But the AFC North is built to stop run. That's all those people do.
Yeah.
They just stop the runs for any team that comes through. Look at Pittsburgh. Baltimore's built to stop that running attack. Baltimore's built to stop the running attack for Chubb and the Browns. Mm-hmm. They're just built to stop those kind of teams.
So yeah, that's a great point. But they're still going to try it.
But the other half of the thing that you need to take into consideration is that the cold weather, that game time. And it's not going to be crazy cold, but they're saying like 67. But I think that's going to be an impact, especially if
67.
It gets yeah, man, 67.
67 degrees? That's not cold at all.
Tennessee? I don't know.
67 degrees?
That's what it says.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's pretty.
It's close to 70.
Yeah, no, man. That's like lukewarm, dude. There's no weather.
I'm in Texas, man.
There's no weather.
Me.
Man, come on.
Cold is
dog.
in the 40s, maybe.
I've seen you out there in 30-degree weather. You're like, man, this is big boy weather. I love that.
But I'm trying to communicate for everybody.
No, man. That's gonna be a nice sweltering day.
Sweltering.
I mean, people are gonna be in shorts.
I'll be sweltering.
People are gonna be in shorts at that game. I would be.
In Baltimore, yeah, probably.
67 degrees. So Tennessee, Baltimore, 10-point favorite, Baltimore Ravens at home. There's no respect given to Ryan Tannehill or Derrick Henry or A.J. Brown or the Tennessee defense at all. What's the over under?
Down A.J. Brown.
Over under.
Over under is
got to be low.
46.5.
That's pretty low. That's pretty low. I guess it's about average.
Well, if it's like the New England and Tennessee game, I mean that total was 29 points.
Yeah. So they're expecting Baltimore to
blow out
Tennessee because Baltimore 10-point favorite, 46 points. So Baltimore blowout.
10.
28 21 35-10, yeah. 35-17 maybe. Something like that. So they don't expect Tennessee to get any kind of offense rolling.
Competitive.
Really? So I mean that's got to be a little bit motivating for Tennessee. I mean, is this just like their swan song? Like they beat New England, they left everything out on the field in Foxborough, and now it's just okay. They've done enough. Baltimore's going to run them out of town. That's what we're thinking.
I would think that Tennessee needs one more receiving target. Like if they had Delaney Walker, maybe I could see them being a little bit more competitive. But I mean, I'm not a big fan of Sharp or the other guy, Corey Davis. Jonnu Smith is meh.
Yeah.
I mean, Deion Lewis did nothing against New England.
I mean, Corey Davis, halfway through the season, he was the guy. Remember, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, Corey Davis." I mean, I think I picked him up in my.
I had him in my.
Yeah, I picked him up in my league. And then A.J. Brown just comes out on the scene. There's these big wide receivers now that we're starting to see that run. I mean, you see A.J. Brown, you see Deebo Samuel, and DK Metcalf. These guys that are 6'3", 6'4", and weigh 240 pounds. You know, I mean, they're guys that could be playing on the defensive line as a pass rusher, but they're playing wide receiver. And
it's like Von Miller being a receiver.
Right. Yeah, it's basically what it is. I mean, it's probably maybe 15, 20 pounds lighter, but I mean, it's a similar build. So, all right. So Houston, Kansas City is going to be on Sunday, 2:05. That's a weird time. Line on that, Paul.
KC -10.
Wow. No respect.
No
respect for Tennessee or Houston. Pat Mahomes at homes. Houston. So it's Pat Mahomes versus Deshaun Watson. Basically, they're saying that Deshaun Watson doesn't have enough firepower to make this happen against Kansas City, which he doesn't.
40 degrees at kickoff.
That's cold.
I mean,
Houston's an indoor team.
That's true.
Yeah. 40 is cold.
Yeah, and they talked about it last. I guess it kind of depends on where you're from. I mean, if you're talking about Green Bay.
Yeah, it's relative.
Yeah, you're talking about Green Bay. They're like, oh, well, 10 degrees is cold.
-10.
Yeah. So I think with Houston, that the absence of Will Fuller was apparent last week. I mean, he's such a great player. He just can't stay healthy. He just runs so fast that his hamstrings just pull off of the bone.
You're probably right.
But when Deshaun doesn't have anybody to stretch the field, and they're just able to clamp down and basically bracket DeAndre Hopkins, there's nothing else that they have. I mean, Carlos Hyde had a few games that he did well in, but they're just not really. They're not built right now to beat a team like Kansas City. So, I mean, I think I would take Kansas City -10 at this point. Over under on that?
-10 Kansas City.
No, over under.
Oh, the over under. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's 51.
51. Okay, so a little bit higher.
Now, I'm going to tell you this. I don't see Will Fuller on the injury report.
Okay.
So that he may play. So that's something to consider.
And that's another factor, that you might have to consider if you're a betting man.
And that's where I think the over-under comes into play with that 51.
Yeah. Because if you have that guy that stretches the field for Deshaun Watson, and for that offense in general, it completely changes the game.
Especially when the play breaks down and Deshaun starts ad-libbing.
Yeah.
All you got to do is just go into just run deep and scramble rules and chunk it up. He's going to go get it.
Yeah. I mean, they tried to do that a little bit with Kenny Stills last week, but Kenny's not.
They're not on the same page.
Yeah.
Deshaun aren't on the same page yet.
Yeah. So there's still, I mean, and Kenny Stills, he doesn't have the wheels that Fuller has, you know. I mean, not many people do.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's hard to be it's hard to be Will Fuller when you're not Will Fuller. All right. So Houston, Kansas City. Houston, probably going to go down. I'm going to be pulling for the Texans, though. Shout out Kalunga. Seattle, Green Bay. I think this is going to be and I'm wondering if this is why the NFL put this one as the last game, because the Seattle, Green Bay has had a history of great playoff games in the last 20 years. So Seattle, Green Bay, 5:40 kickoff time. Line on that right now on Wednesday.
Green Bay -4.
Okay.
Those must be Pacific times that you're looking at. 5:40 and 2:40.
These are 5:40 Central Standard.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's weird.
They're trying to do like a almost prime time, but still afternoon game to meet the West Coast and the East Coast.
Also a little later.
Yeah, they're trying to help out our West Coast brethren, I think.
Because that'll be what?
East Coast and West Coast brethren.
3:40 kickoff.
I would love to live in California because every Sunday morning I wake up early. I'm like, still 3 hours until the NFL.
Yeah.
And you wake up at 8 a.m. You got NFL football, or is it 9 a.m. in California?
Yeah.
That you have those.
They have you game kickoffs at what, 10?
Yeah,
10 a.m.
That's beautiful.
See, but that's why you get into the Premier League, and you're a Chelsea fan, and you watch some soccer, some football,
Nerds.
So shout out Stefano, shout out Chelsea Blues. So Seattle, Green Bay. Green Bay is 4-point favorites. Am I going Seattle?
I'm gonna go.
Am I going Seattle? I think I'm going Seattle. I'm going Seattle.
I'm gonna go look for alternate lines, alternate spreads.
I'm going Seattle -4. I'm not going to say Seattle wins, but I'm going to go Seattle -4.
That's a good bet.
Yeah.
I would say that's a good bet.
Yeah.
Over under is 47.
Okay. So they're not expecting a lot of points, but it is going to be like what they said. What's temperature on this one?
Kickoff is going to be 27 degrees.
27 degrees. Okay. But Seattle's used to inclement weather. It's not,
It's a different kind of cold at Lambeau.
That's true. They're going to call it the frozen tundra for nothing.
Yeah.
So Seattle, Green Bay. You got two well-seasoned quarterbacks. You got Seattle, they're hurting at the running back position. Marshawn Lynch, they brought him in, but he's not the Marshawn Lynch of old. I do like that Travis Homer, I think his name, the rookie. Mm-hmm. He's good. He's serviceable. And then you got DK Metcalf that blew up for Seattle last week, the wide receiver. On the Green Bay side, you got Aaron Rodgers. So, I mean, Aaron Jones. You got but the wide receiver, I mean, you haven't really had a wide receiver for Green Bay come out this season, right? I mean, am I right here? I mean, like, you haven't.
No breakout.
I mean, nobody that's come out and said, like, oh, okay, like, this is the guy. But, this is the Greg Jennings. This is, your
Greg Jennings.
Yes.
But see, Green Bay they have a lot of big body receivers too. Lazard is one of those big guys. He's got those big bodies out there, and I think that's going to be the difference. I don't think that Seattle's DBs are going to be able to match up, especially with 50-50 balls.
Yeah.
And this year, Aaron Rodgers actually has a defense that can keep the game competitive, where he doesn't have to sling the ball for 50 attempts.
Right.
And I think that's something to take into consideration as well.
So Seattle, Green Bay. I actually, you know what? I'm going to pick Seattle to win the game. So I'm going San Francisco. I'm going to go Baltimore, Kansas City, and then Seattle. So I got 3 favorites and a 1 underdog.
Yeah, I'm taking all the favorites all across the board.
Favorites all across the board. Snoop, you got pick winners. Minnesota, San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Tennessee, Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Houston, Kansas City.
Oh, yeah, Kansas City.
I mean, right? Seattle,
unfortunately.
Seattle, Green Bay.
Yeah, Seattle.
Seattle.
All favorites.
Yeah.
So all the underdogs are going to lose. Or win.
Green Bay's the favorite.
Oh, they are? Oh, well, Seattle.
Right?
Yes, Green Bay's the favorite, but I think Seattle +4 is a really good bet.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So we'll see. I mean, like I said, I went 1 for 4 last week. So yeah, I don't.
I went 2 for 4.
I wouldn't listen to me. I wouldn't listen.
I had a good weekend of gambling, but I just can't handle the casino, so I'm already done gambling. Sports gambling.
Yeah.
It lasted a weekend.
Oh.
In sports wins, I probably won about $90 and then lost it all on the
blackjack?
fake casino. I don't even know why I play that.
Was it blackjack?
Yeah. I just get on tilt because I was only doing little dollars and it just kept winning. Like,
and then when you and then you put $5 in, and they give you. So it's like you put $1 and they're like, oh, you get 18. You put another $1, you get 19. You put another $1, you get 21. And then you put $5 and they're like 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
25.
Although there was this one thing that he was doing where they had like these live.
That was yes.
Yeah, they had these live dealers.
So fun.
Like they actually had like these it was live.
The interface was live.
The interface was live,
Yeah.
and they were actually like,
doing cards.
doing the cards.
They would say your name.
Yeah.
They're like, little Snoopy Vert. Are you going to,
Yeah, and they were. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I like that version. I did like that version because you can kind of like tell, like, because they're using, card machines, like the decks, like the multi decks. So you can kind of like not really count the cards, but you can see what the patterns that are coming out of when you're doing just digital. I mean, anything could be coming out. So I don't know.
I don't.
I took y'all way off.
I don't do any kind of casino betting.
Took y'all way off.
Not even in real life.
No, we're wrapping up anyways. ReconAthlete.com podcast episode number 41. Once again, January 19th, the live broadcast starting at noon o'clock, as I like to say, down at Kreuz Market. Come by, see us. I'm going to be there. Paul, Zach will be there. Snoop will be there. We're going to have some live music. We're going to have some trivia going on for some Kreuz Market gift cards. And I don't know. We'll see what else is going to happen. We'll have some guests. We're going to work on getting some people in there and do some live interviews. All right, Snoop.
Can I shout out somebody?
Yeah. Shout out, man.
Edric Whitley from Weiss High School. He's a senior. Didn't get much D1 looks during the season, but just today he got an offer from Miami, the Hurricanes, and he just got another one from Ole Miss.
Nice.
Right. So that's what, like, and we saw them when they had it was their first, it was their first varsity win. And I remember I was just like, man, who's that kid right there? Who's that cornerback? That kid can play. And that's him.
Took 2 pick 6 to the house against Lockhart.
Yeah.
And area round of the playoffs. So dude's got wheels and hands.
Yeah.
No wonder these offers are coming in now.
So all right. Well, I want to shout out to everybody that joined us on the Facebook Live watch party. Shout out to Snoop for joining us here at the end of the show. Always welcome. And of course, I do want to shout out to my cousin Jonathan De Leon, who got married. So congratulations. And then also shout out to Francesca. I got your invitation to the baby sprinkle for June. I'll be there. Yeah, Paul will be there too. I'll go on Amazon or wherever it was.
We'll pick some up.
We'll get something for you. Okay. Love you, baby girl. All right, Paul, do your thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all enjoying the podcast, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Tell us anything you like about sports. We'll hit the bell on the notifications for YouTube, but we gone.